You know what? The question is, man, does J. Cole have a better catalog than the game? And we'll do a recap because the people seem to think so. People voted J. Cole 74% to the game's 26%. Over 6,000 people voted to say that J. Cole has a better catalog of music than the game. And based on this percentage, it looks like people feel like that emphatically. Like, this is by a lot.
What are people listening to, Mike? I want to know. Like, what are people listening to? Like, I'm going through Cole's catalog right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing on here that's stellar outside of Forest Hills. I told you this last album that he dropped is the second best album. After that, it would probably go between KOD. The rest of the stuff is just average to above average, slightly, Mike, slightly. Like, none of this stuff is stellar except for Forest Hills. I don't know what they're talking about. Game doesn't just have stellar albums, Mike. Game has classic albums. Game has like great albums, like a catalog of them. Game has the documentary. Game has the documentary 2.5. He has the documentary 2.0. He's got LAX.
Yeah,
He's got Peace. He's got the Doctor's Advocate. I know cats that like the Red Album. Mike, I don't really
I like the Red Album.
You like Born to Rap. You like the Red Album and Born to Rap. I'm not a fan of those, but I even respect those albums. Mike,
I like Blood Moon, too.
Hold on. No, hold on. You're totally wrong.
I like that album.
Whack. No, that album is whack. But, those two albums, the Red Album, Mike, and what was the last one? The Born to Rap album?
Mm-hmm.
Those albums are more comparable to what Cole's career has been like. Those are Game's like back-end albums. Like, Game has 5 or 6 albums better than that stuff. Cole's stuff matches up to that. And it's funny to me, Mike, and you said it right before we went online. Cole is overrated and Game is underrated.
Trey Gooden says, yes, Cole has a better catalog. Why do you feel that way?
Show me the songs. What songs are y'all talking about? Mike, I think Game probably has more dope songs on the documentary, Doctor's Advocate, Jesus Peace, and LAX than Cole's whole shit.
And it's funny because we were talking last week about in the whole review of Cole's album, like, does Cole have those street hits like that? Because we're not even talking about hits like How We Do and Wouldn't Get Far and things like that. But I mean, Bigger Than Me, like, we got street hits. And let's look at the albums, and the albums that we actually got in the image here so people in the chat can see. We got the documentary, we got Doctor's Advocate, we got the Red Album, Jesus Peace, we got the documentary 2.0 or 2.5, both, Born to Rap. And then on J. Cole's side, we got Friday Night Lights, we got his debut album, his studio debut album, then you got KOD, you got Born Center, you got the Off Season, and you got 2014 Forest Hill Drive. People seem to feel like that is 74% emphatically better than the game. I
want to see the fruit. Like, where are the songs that y'all are talking about that are so great on here, Mike? Like, I mean, you and I were just having this conversation. Like, the Doctor's Advocate and the documentary are better than Forest Hills Drives to both of us. Both of those albums.
We also said the Jesus Piece.
Jesus Piece, right? Like LAX is his 4th best album. I think LAX and Forest Hills are more comparable discussions than Game's first 3 albums. Game got 3 albums that's like clear of Forest Hills to me. Like, that's why it's like y'all have this totally in reverse. Rap is not about. How is a guy that loves Rakim and Nas the way that I do, like, about to say this? Rap isn't just about rapping ass words and bars, motherfuckers.
You think that's what it is? You think people voted for Cole because he's just the more word for word skilled rapper?
I'm gonna tell you some real shit. My homegirl from back in the day, Sharon, her husband has started a group, and I'm in the group, and it's a hip hop and sports related group. I don't do a lot of group related stuff. I got into it with this queen from Jersey, you know what I'm saying? And I call her queen because at the end of the conversation, she ended up telling me that Nas was her favorite MC ever, and we kind of just agreed to disagree.
Right.
But Mike, when our post made it up onto the group chat about the Cole Game thing, and she was like, "Who posted this dumb shit?" And I'm like, that would be me. Like, I'm going to hip hop now, right? And she's like, it wasn't even a conversation for her that it was Cole. And I was like, yo, where are you from? And she's like, I'm from Jersey. I'm like, y'all some loving motherfuckers. It's more than bars.
You know what I think it is, though, man? I think that, and this is a part of being an artist, too. I think Cole has touched people to a level where they're such fans and they love him to a degree where they would pick him in a situation like this, because I don't think the game did a really good job of that, because people don't like the game. The game is not a likable figure out here in hip hop. I was listening to Wouldn't Get Far, and just the stuff that he was talking about with, Jay, Beyonce, Superhead, and all that. I was like, this is why he's never gonna get that Jigga feature that he keeps asking for.
Right. Right. You want to know what, Mike? He actually has a song with Nas that talks about, like, how people feel about him. It's called Why You Wanna Hate the Game. It's the end of the Doctor's Advocate. Mike, it's the type of record that you think J. Cole would make, but never ever makes. And Game's career is actually littered with records like Why You Wanna Hate the Game. Mike, those just monster records, Mike. They're not even necessarily singles. You're just like, what the hell is that?
The Just Blaze track,
This shit is about quality, man. Like, people gotta understand. Like, no, I know Cole can rap his ass off. I know Cole technically and fundamentally and maybe inherently is better as an MC and a lyricist. The material, all in Game's favor.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's the thing, and I think the material should stand on its own. Kind of like in that whole Nas and Eminem, who's more lyrically skilled debate. I think that this was more about who people like. And I think that even when you're doing polls, those things come into effect all the time anyway. But sometimes you got to kind of put that aside and be like, look, this person's one of my favorite rappers, but I got to be realistic here. And I know we end up talking about this all the time, but I've had to have a come to Jesus moment about the fact that Andre 3000 doesn't have any solo records. I used to argue people down that he belongs to be, he's supposed to be, or he belongs in the top 5 of this and that. And, I liked the artist so much, and I'm such an Outkast fan that I wouldn't come to the realization. But you got to kind of put that fandom aside and face facts. And there's no way on earth, album for album, song for song, that J. Cole has a better catalog of music than the Game. At least not 74 to 26%. That's just nonsense.
And it's the fact that Game is blowing him out on bangers and singles and tracks and albums. It's not a conversation outside of Forest Hills. That's what I'm saying. Like Cole's best shit, if you were to put it in Game's catalog, would fall somewhere between 3 to 5 at best.
And it's interesting because Game just put Cole in his top 10 or whatever, and he said that
Mike, when I was chatting with old girl from Jersey, I was telling her, I was like, the funny thing about this is that my favorite Cole verse is "Pray" off Jesus Piece on Game's album.
Let me ask you this though: what were some of the other people saying in that chat when you posted, the results of this?
It's a hip-hop related group, so Cole's gonna get more love than Game, and that's why it's just like, but no. I also told her too, it's like, I was out in Cali when the documentary came out. It's like, that shit's real. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell people, like they get behind theirs like no other and make sure motherfuckers win. And he took a whole coast by storm, Mike.
Well, people in the chat got Cole's back. Shaheed says yes.
Oh, I want the people in the chat to understand they're wrong. They don't know what the fuck they talking about, and I want you all to enjoy the rest of your day.
But Barnable Samuel Young says it's purely subjective opinion. You can't talk about this question as a fact. I think you can. I think it's factual that, and no disrespect to anybody. I think it's factual that Nas has a better catalog of music than 2 Chainz. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's factual. It's not opinion.
No, Mike, I'm saying, Mike, I will say this for a fact. I know that Game has made 50 good to great, the classic rap songs. I don't even know if I can say that about Cole. You can't think of 50 great to good to classic Cole songs. Not 50, Mike. You don't got a 50 pack.
I think this deserves further examination and breaking down, almost in a master class format.
Like, about this, right? We might have to do a show about
yeah,
this or something like.
Yeah.
Do I need to know? Like Mike, I'm gonna make a list today of like Game's best like whatever song. I know it's gonna be more than 25 though, because I know he did about 20 on the first 2 albums. Like, what the fuck?
Well, you know what? We got a show coming up on Friday. And I think that, you know, I mean, of course, we've been kind of wrestling with different topics because there aren't any like major releases coming out to talk about. I think this might need to be something to examine further, like Game being underrated or underappreciated, or maybe we bugging. Maybe like y'all saying, Game's catalog's not as good as we think it is or something.
Like, we ain't bugging. I'm about to go play House of Pain, Scream on One Blood, No More Fun in Game, Running, Don't Worry, Around the World, Why You Wanna Hate the Game, Ali Boumaier, Name Me King, Pray, Can't Get Right, feel me, Mike, West Side Story, Dreams.
Man, like, yo, I wish you could see the chat right now.
Mike, man, they bugging.
I wish you could see the chat right now. J. Cole fans are bombing on you. Lonnie Breeze said, Forest Hill, Born Center, Warm Up, Friday Night Lights, better than Game's best music. Better than the documentary.
Mike, whoever posted that thought that, we need to find them. We need to perform some sort of hip-hop exorcism on them. Apparently it's gone too far. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about and what's going on. I hope you're not from North Carolina misrepresenting my state with that bullshit.
Hey, man, J. Cole is beloved. But, yeah, join us on Friday at 7:30.
You can beloved him, just be honest about it.
Game got mixtapes, too.
Like, I'm from Charlotte. I want fam to win. The catalog says Game is better. The songs say he better. I don't want to hear about this rapping ass rap shit. Rakim and Nas do that rapping ass rap shit and make classic albums. That's why I have them at 1 and 2.
Game got mixtapes too, man. He got that California Republic shit. That shit was hard too.
We don't even gotta get to that, man. Get me out of here.
All right.